We'll call this hearing to order. I'll begin by reading the notice of public hearing. Notice is hereby given that the following hearing will be held in the Bonneville County Courthouse, 605 North Capitol Avenue, Idaho Falls, Idaho, August 15th, 2023 at 2:30 p.m. by the Bonneville County Commissioners for the purpose of a public hearing to adopt Bonneville County Area of Impact Ordinance for the City of Iona, which is summarized as follows. It does have a full summary of that, which I'll forego the reading. This was published July 29th, 2023 in the Post Register. Those in attendance are myself, Commissioner Christensen, Commissioner Reed is John. Okay, he was planning on joining us with Zoom. If he does, then we'll note that. And also members of the staff, Austin Black, Gwen, Rhonda. It should be easy, but I haven't learned that. And Michelle Hagan. To begin with, we'll have staff. I don't know who's going to present this. Give us a summary of the proposed ordinance. We'll then open it for any testimony or questions from the commissioners to staff or others in attendance, and we'll proceed with that.
So this is Austin Black, planning and zoning. Just going to give a brief little overview here of some of the major changes from the previous area of impact agreement. Starting in section 3, and that's in correspondence with the map, which is Exhibit A. It talks about having a commercial corridor and high density corridor that is outlined by the city as to where they would like to see those developments go in the city of Iona.
Have you got one of those? I've got everything else.
And I might all make a mixed copy of this.
So is it in the packet?
Yeah, it was in the packet. You won't teach it, it's on the agreement.
I've got a copy if you would like it. Here's Commissioner.
Well, that's just a notice that you should have.
So here, extra copy. And then here's an extra copy. I do not have them there.
I think we should have those. I'll take one. That's all. Okay. Start with you should know Commissioner Walker this year.
My battery thing is blinking. So, okay, go ahead.
Okay, so section 3, as I mentioned, there's a commercial and high density corridor, which is where the city defined if they would like that development to go. That's shown on the map in Exhibit A. County has talked with the city and let them know, even though that's their designation, that there would still have to be requirements met in the county for those types of developments to be allowed there in the county jurisdiction or there in the city. Section 5 talks about the city's infrastructure standards. If they're more restrictive than those of the county being followed, that's always been the process that we follow. Section 7 kind of goes over the overlay requirements of the area of impact, specifies which zones are expressly allowed to be considered in the area of impact, and then which ones are allowed to be considered in the commercial corridor, and which ones are allowed to be considered in the high density corridor. And then section D talks about basically the city can give consent for any of the zones listed above to be located anywhere in the area of impact if they see fit. Section E just basically covers if the county changes a lot size in one of their zones, then we need to renegotiate the area of impact agreement to make sure these zones are still compatible as up above. F goes over setbacks that the city and county looked at together and agreed upon for these sections of zones, which mostly follow the city standards, as you see generally in the area of impact. Section 8 goes over consent to annex, basically any new development within the area of impact. As part of their development agreement will record Exhibit C, which is a consent for them to annex at such time that they become adjacent to the city limits. And 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, no real substantial changes, pretty similar to what was in the original agreements as far as reviewing plans, things like that. So that's kind of a general overview. Staff has worked hard together on this between the city and county, and feels at a comfortable level to recommend to the board. So, any questions for me?
This is unmuted. Okay, now explain the highway. You've got this hash mark in this whole section along the highway.
Yeah, so
that will still be designated as what in the county, even though Iona desires that to be their.
So I've told Iona more than likely when we get around to making our comprehensive plan changes. Right now, some of this is designated as mixed use on our comprehensive plan and then commercial. But more than likely, when we make our changes, it will be mostly commercial and agricultural because we're trying to limit the higher density closer to the highway.
Okay, that was my one question.
No, I just want to know if there was a fair amount of discussion about that, during the planning and zoning meeting. And so I appreciate the fact that that was recognized.
John, did you have any questions before we open it up for testimony?
No, I agree with Commissioner Reed. Appreciate all the questions that were asked by the Planning and Zoning Commission. It cleared up most of my questions.
And I'll just share too, there has been some concern. I've had quite a bit of public reach out to me about their existing subdivisions being located in the area of impact and what does that mean for them. A lot of those have come from the Panorama Hills area that's now included that wasn't before, and I really just explained to them as of right now, it doesn't change anything for you as far as your property uses, anything like that. It's just an area that we've defined with the city that we say this is where we expect the city to grow in the future, and that's why we've adopted this set of standards for it. And it's been pretty well received by most people once they understand that. I think at first they just thought, oh, because we're in this hashed area, we're all going to be annexed immediately. So.
Well, being from Iona, I thought everybody in the whole county would want to move into Iona.
They got to get past the armed guard.
Okay, with that, we'll open it up for any questions, testimony by members of the public. I think these are representatives from the City of Iona. State your name and address, please.
Yeah, so Rob Garai, 3108 Ashwood Lane in Iona. I'm also the council president for the City of Iona. I appreciate the efforts. I know Austin and our city attorney in particular spent a lot of time trying to hash this out and get it to the right place. I think that we've come up with a pretty good solution after some good effort to try and update something that we've been kind of wanting to do for quite a while, and hopefully, I don't know, maybe it becomes a template for the other cities too. If they're looking to do something, that might be a possibility. But we know we wanted to get it done as soon as we could, so that we could, I guess, influence to the degree that we can the development around our city, and look to the future. So the big thing is like I say, I think we got a good product, and I really appreciate the efforts of planning and zoning, especially to this point, and Austin and Michelle. They've been most heavily involved in this case. Anyway, and I don't know if anybody had any questions for me or anything right now, and then I don't know if the mayor had anything that he wanted to add or not.
Okay, thanks.
Mayor Dan Gubler, Iona. Just want to echo the comments of Rob Garai. We worked on this. Appreciate the county and Austin and his staff for their efforts. planning and zoning. It's been an interesting process for sure. And going forward, obviously, we have to think about how growth impacts where we live. If we're not involved with that with an eye to the future, we're making big mistakes because, as you know, you get stuck with what you get stuck with if you're not proactive. You can't really be reactive. So we got to be upfront with what we're doing. What we've accomplished here is an attempt to do that, to set our community up for good development for the future and how it impacts our community and whatnot. We feel like we've got a good product here. Thanks.
You don't have to.
I mean, I can. Carrie West, I'm the city clerk treasurer for the City of Iona. My address is 46781 Sunset Drive. I live in Iona and work in Iona. This has been a really great process to work with the planning and zoning for Bonneville County. This is the last step. We've done all of our other approvals and no pressure. No, but I think we're ready to kind of move forward. We've had lots of questions, like Austin has said. I've also fielded a lot of questions about annexation, and I think it's a good product. I think it's a good balance between what the county needs and what the city needs to kind of protect our interests. And any questions, you can ask the three of us.
No, I just have one comment because looking through this, I appreciate all the, it looked like some lengthy discussions with the planning commissions, which is the way the thing's designed to do. Kind of work out a lot of those differences and then bringing a more finished product to this. Anticipate this will be shorter. As I understand the process, we'll take it under advisement, put it on our calendar to adopt where it's an ordinance, even similar to a zone change. We'll take it under consideration, and then we, once we adopt it, we send it back to the city to approve by the city council.
We've already approved it.
Oh, the city council has already approved it.
Yes. If adopted by the commissioners, if that's the unanimous vote, then once it's signed, we'll send them a copy, make sure we have all the city council signatures, and then we'll record it in both jurisdictions. So.
Well, the thing I appreciate on the work is we've worked for many years trying to get some of the other cities, especially one, to agree, you know, that you're not going to grow like a tree, you know. And so if you can get somebody to agree, provide the services and annex when they're there, I think it makes for more orderly growth in the long run, and you don't end up with a lot of these little county islands and, you know.
Well, we've already been approached by two individuals, myself, have been approached about developing large developments north of what is our current city annexation area,
Area of impact.
Area of impact. And so this will encompass those. They're already in talks with us. I'm sure you know a couple of them. Because I don't think that's appropriate.
No, it's not.
And so
But I've never known you to be appropriate at times. I can do this because
We must be talking about a different guy.
he's married to my cousin, so.
you listen to our public recordings.
I own
Don't. Please don't.
all the eye colors the same out there. So,
I just want to echo too and say thanks to the city and all of their staff for well with us and all their participation as we move forward and understanding and being willing to come to the table and work back and forth. It's been really enjoyable and good process to get to know each other.
The only comment is I appreciate what you said. I hope this could be a good template or an example that really understands. That's what I like with this.
John, any other questions, comments?
No, I just like to agree that glad to see this moving forward. I hope this is the first of many steps in the direction towards the kind of future planning that we need.
Okay, hearing no further comments, we'll call this hearing to a close. We'll take the issue under advisement. I'm guessing Austin, well, I know Austin will meet with us each individually and see if we have any proposed changes, or if we agree, then he'll get a cleaned up copy on our agenda probably within the next 2 weeks. And we'll let you know.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, gentlemen.
Thank you, guys.
Well,